Hello, my name is Lucas Flynn, but everyone calls me Luke. I've been an educator since 2019, starting with preschool and eventually finding my way into the elementary age, where I became a paraprofessional in special education. I have worked with everything from autism, emotionally dysregulated, traumatic brain injury, Down syndrome, etc. Currently, I am a one-to-one para for a little kindergartner with some ED tendencies. I truly enjoy what I do and believe this is my passion in life. I think my calling is truly for advocacy and understanding first, as so many people just don't understand, and I think that causes unintended consequences. Today in this video, I will be discussing my professional dispositions of teaching and what I am strong at now versus what I need to grow and learn with. I think I have at least a little bit of the dispositions of all of them, but obviously I am better at some and need more practice at others. I really struggle to order these honestly, as some of these are so important for the good, safe, and appropriate environment for children. I wanted to put 10 for all of them, but knew I couldn't. I think, first and foremost, with special education, you need to uphold and encourage compassion for everyone you interact with, but most importantly, your students. This demographic always gets the short end of the stick, but I think especially in terms of how people treat them. They are still humans, still people with thoughts and feelings. I think advocacy for this group is so important, as in my experience, special education is always put on the back burner. Again, in my experience, I've noticed that the special education departments tend to get the news late, less spending budgets, less supplies, and the quality of what they do get is subpar to the gen ed kids. Often, they are unable to speak up for themselves in situations where it is even above some of the adults in the room. So it is important as the teacher to advocate for these students above all else. Fairness is necessary to make sure they are getting the appropriate level of education for their abilities. Some kids may need extra help or tools to help them. A lot of children in special education will have IEPs, individual education plans, that state certain tools like a calculator that they can use, or adaptions for them like a quiet space to test, smaller group sizes. This is a group that always needs adaptations made to their curriculum and such to make sure it is fair and appropriate for them. Being honest can be hard sometimes, as sometimes you have to have hard conversations with students, faculty, or parents and guardians. I have never struggled with honesty, but I have struggled with bluntness. I always remind myself to speak in a way that is not too blunt or rash, especially when dealing with a sensitive topic such as student behavior or grades. Having respect for the diversity of others can also be a tricky slope when you come from a different background, culturally, ethnically, etc. What is normal to one culture is seen as rude to another, so you must be mindful of that. Keeping up as much as you can with other cultures can help you to navigate the differences you may run into. While working in an elementary school, I was in a 3rd to 5th grade emotionally dysregulated classroom, and I noticed with some of the other paras they would struggle to keep professional conduct with the students. Nothing inappropriate, or I would have stopped it, but always seemed to mean that they were just too buddy-buddy with the students and let slide behaviors that should have been corrected. Certain language, certain slang, things like that. But I found it always best to try and keep as much of a professional boundary with my students as possible to avoid those situations entirely. Having the dedication to be an educator takes work. This is not an easy job by any means, and it takes a lot of work and dedication to stay in this profession and excel at it. In preschool especially, I saw many people come into the job not expecting such responsibility, thinking it would be all play and coloring when it is hard work. I honestly wanted to score this one higher, but here we are. Being able to reflect on oneself is so important. I have seen so many older people in this profession that are stuck in their ways and are unable to see the problems and change. Again, maybe not maliciously, but they are unable to self-reflect on what they can possibly do better or differently. Being able to look inward and see what's wrong or what you could do better is what makes a teacher go from okay to excellent. Another one I wanted to score higher, but I've always felt that setting appropriate but high expectations for students will gain better results than putting them down and not pushing them to exceed. Even at the preschool level, at 2 or 3 years old, a child will generally meet or exceed your expectations if you give them the freedom to. I've seen a lot of people treat my 3rd to 5th grade students, so 10 to 12-year-olds, like they were in preschool just because they were in special education, talking down to them, belittling them. A child needs a slight push to be better. Honestly, I think we all do. Someone there to tell us, you can do it. Another one I wanted to score higher. Being curious is something I believe is so important to becoming, more importantly, maintaining a higher status as educator. Bettering your education, always staying up to date on current research and practices, and attending professional development courses are important in making sure that you are in the know about what is developmentally appropriate, as it is always changing. I think I have a good understanding of all the dispositions that I possess, but I also know that I always need to continue my education and continue learning new things to stay up to date. I think any teacher needs to know these dispositions, but I think it is so important for a special education teacher to know and uphold these practices. Thank you very much.